So, this is going to be my review of a comic I've been wanting to read for a while, and that is Future Quest. This is actually the second volume. I put the first volume away, but I think one book is worth enough for the whole story. So this is part of the Hanna-Barbera line that DC did a little while ago that like revamped a lot of the old Hanna-Barbera comics, such as what was it, like Wacky Races and Scooby-Doo Apocalypse. It did the Flintstones, and this was the big one. Now, this is actually going to sound very familiar, and there's a reason for that. But I'll get into the story in a moment and why it sounds familiar. So this was more or less, this is written by Jeff Parker, who I really dig as a writer. I think Jeff Parker is a really underrated writer. Whenever I see Jeff Parker on something, I know it's going to be good, and no one's going to talk about it. Like, that was the thing. Like, when he took over from Jeff Loeb over Red Hulk, I haven't been able to collect a lot of the Red Hulk stuff, but the stuff I do own of Jeff Parker's Red Hulk run, as well as his Thunderbolts run, are really damn good. Jeff Parker is a super underrated writer. Like, whenever I see him, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. And this is no different. Now, the story is that a cosmic being called Omnicron is approaching Earth and is preparing to like absorb it into itself. And essentially, all the Hanna-Barbera superheroes, like Johnny Quest is the focal point, but like you have the Impossibles, you have Space Ghost, you have Birdman, you have Mightor, you have literally like any superhero you could think of. Even like Frankenstein Jr. is here. The only one who is missing is Shazam. Shazam was the only one missing. I'm surprised Shazam didn't show up. The genie. They do kind of reference him, but they never really shows up. Oh yeah, the Herculoids show up. But yeah, so it's more or less all this new era of superheroes coming together to fight a cosmic threat. Now, if that sounds really familiar, there's a reason for that. This is actually the Hanna-Barbera equivalent of DC The New Frontier. As I was reading this comic, I was like, cosmic entity of nightmares and an era of superheroes being born and coming together to fight said cosmic threat. This feels really familiar. Wait a minute. And I was like, wait a minute. Did Jeff Parker rip off New Frontier? Turns out that wasn't the case. Actually, Dan DiDio wanted to make this comic like the Hanna-Barbera equivalent of The New Frontier. That was the whole idea, was to make it the new frontier for the Hanna-Barbera superheroes. Not only that, Darwyn Cooke, the creator of New Frontier, actually helped Jeff Parker create the story shortly before his passing. So, in any case, this is Jeff Parker's love letter to Darwyn Cooke for helping him create the story, as well as helping to form the story to begin with. So, yeah. Is it basically The New Frontier, but instead of DC characters, it's Hanna-Barbera superheroes? Yeah, but that was the point, is that he is basically doing a love letter to Darwyn Cooke. And there is a lot of Darwyn Cooke inspired stuff in here, like the technology, like the retro technology, the fun pseudoscience. It's all here. Like, it's all really fun. And it's like, again, this is something you would see from New Frontier, but it actually really fits because that's a lot of the motifs of that 50s, 60s retro sci-fi that you saw on Johnny Quest, that you saw in Space Ghost, that you saw on the Herculoids. That was literally everything in the Hanna-Barbera superhero comics. That was all there. That was always there. And it's right here. It's basically all right here. And we now have all of that, and it all feels natural. In fact, all the superheroes coming together feels really natural. For 12 issues, yeah, this is, like I said, this is only the second volume, but yeah, for a 12-issue maxi series, Parker gets a lot done in 12 issues and does a very coherent story. I will say, however, that the ending does kind of wrap up a little too fast for my liking, but that's just me. So, like I said, that's and also I do think it deviates sometimes. Like the first 6 issues, especially, like there's some deviations. Like, and you could say the argument, well, New Frontier did that too, where it deviate from the main path. But yeah, it was like those issues were a lot bigger. Here it's like, oh, we're cutting over here now. Like it's a sudden like it moves so fast from like 1 minute you're hanging out with the imposter, like you're hanging out with Johnny Quest and Birdman fighting dinosaurs alongside Dino Boy. Yeah, you guys remember Dino Boy? There you go. And then it's suddenly like, boom, we're over here with the Impossibles and a new character. That's the other thing, is that we get new superhero. Jeff Parker was allowed to add new superheroes to this comic. Like for the Impossibles, we actually add a new character called Cobalt. And Cobalt is a girl. The Impossibles were 3 dudes who were playing in a band, like to parody the Beatles. But Cobalt is a girl who can actually use magnetic abilities. And they actually talk about the origin of the Impossibles and tie it into a Birdman villain. Not only that, like how they tie in all the characters together. There's even a new Mitor. I really dig the new Mitor who shows up, and it's very much like a He-Man situation. So I dig that. I also like that we even get like the Galaxy Trio. I really love the Herculoids, and the Herculoids really play a big part in this comic. So I all around just love this comic. I just love this book. It took me forever to find it. My friend Chris, Mount Vernon Kid, said that if he ever found it, he would send it to me. But I found both volumes at MegaCon, and I was like, you know what? I'm here. It's Chris maybe having some difficulty. He was moving at the time, so I didn't want to burden him. So I got both volumes. I don't know if you can't I found this by random at a convention. I don't know how much the comic is like online. I see like it was kind of low on stock on Amazon. But both volumes are under $20. Like it's in the US, it's $16.99. So under $20 for both. So, do I suggest this? Do I suggest this book? Absolutely. I really suggest if you love Hanna-Barbera superheroes and love the New Frontier, this is the book you need to read. If you love, and the other thing is like it's not overtly dark and gritty. Yeah, there is some murder and some violence, but it's not like it goes like super like dark. It stays like in that fun retro era. It's all still fun. It's just like it's very much like the Boom Studios Power Rangers. That's what I kind of compare this to in terms of like you could give this to your kid and he'd enjoy it. So I think this is all pretty fun. So once again, if you love Hanna-Barbera superheroes, this is the crossover you need to read. Future Quest, go pick it up. But yeah, so you guys tell me in the comments below, if you read Future Quest, what did you guys think of it? Like it, hate it, comment below, let me know. Once again, check out my link on Patreon, where you'll get some exclusive content and even be able to, if you hit a certain tier, you can request videos for me to post on here. But other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.